gotta really kind of feed yourself, right? So put some ones in the chat. Let me know where you guys are calling in from. I'm always excited for people to really just kind of reach a friend, touch base with a friend, tell them, hey, listen, I'm on this call. I'm fired up. I want to be a part of it. I want that same type of energy that Mr. Boston always brings. And it's a great thing. I really chalk the energy up to how I keep myself mentally, how I keep myself physically, how I keep myself spiritually. And you gotta constantly. This is why this is so essential for us to have this dialogue today, because you got to make sure you're strong in all of those areas, right? You got to make sure you're strong in that mental strength. You got to make sure you're strong in that physical sense. You got to make sure you're strong in that spiritual sense. So you got to ask yourself today, ladies and gentlemen, what are you doing, right? What are you doing really to keep yourself that way? What are you doing to keep yourself spiritually strong? What are you doing to keep yourself physically strong? What are you doing to keep yourself right mentally strong? Somebody type it in the chat. I want to hear from some of you guys in the chat. You know what I mean? As I'm talking to you guys, what are you doing? As I share about what I'm doing, and as we jump into this call, what are you doing to keep yourself physically strong? What are you doing to keep yourself mentally strong? What are you doing to keep yourself spiritually strong? That's very important. And I like to have an interactive call. I always tell everyone, share it with a friend, share it with a friend. I see meditation and pray. I love it. I love it. Come on, some people. I know we got folks that's all over. I know some of you on YouTube, whoever's on Clubhouse, wherever you guys are. It's key to know where you guys are, right? What are you doing for your health? One of the things that I do, it's funny. I just hit my shot. That's my regular shot that I hit. You know what I mean? My Magic Mind shot, because it's so powerful for me to actually keep that energy boost and that virility and that clarity of thinking, especially when you go through that long day. So it's amazing to make sure that I'm taking my herbs. That's one of the things I'm dealing with my body. It's like, okay, how do I maintain the body right so the mind can be right? And I needed to make sure, well, look, I'm not doing the wrong things, but I'm doing the right things. So I'm like, you know what? Hey, once I have friends and business partners who are in alignment to what I do in terms of health and spirituality and in terms of growth, then I'm always there to say, hey, listen, man, what do you recommend? What do you suggest? And I kid you guys not. It's just like you have the good book. It's just like you have the Bible. You pray, or whatever your belief system is, the Torah, whatever it is, whatever. If you're reading the Quran, whatever it is that you're doing to fill yourself up spiritually, right? Then you still have to fill yourself up physically, right? And that's so key. Why I'm on my Magic Mind movement. So definitely, if you guys ever want to really jump on board to say, well, hey, what is Mr. Boston always doing to be fired up? Well, spiritual health is extremely important as we dive into this. Physical health is extremely important. So what are you doing spiritually? What is your belief system? How are you charging it up? How are you powering it up? Then how are you powering up your physical self? And I power it up with my herbs. I power it up with how I eat. I power it up with Magic Mind. So you guys definitely want to check out my peoples. Go to www.magicmind.com, or you guys can just go on their Instagram and search Magic Mind. And I'll kid you not, you'll have some things that will blow your mind, that will allow you to have the virility, the strength, because there's the herbs that will help you through that process. So you guys want to check that out as well. You guys want to make sure that you're keeping your physique right. How much exercise are you doing? Are you walking 2-3 times a week? What are you doing to maintain some type of health? Because this is very important, ladies and gentlemen. It's very, very important. As we dive into this, I want y'all to get your pen and pads and your notes. And this is really important, because the key is the dialogue, and why this makes sense. Why I was saying all what I'm saying is that your topic today, ladies and gentlemen, is start thinking, start feeling, and start acting. You should write it down. Start thinking, start feeling, and start acting. This is extremely important. Start thinking, start feeling, and start acting. I want you to think about that. That's very important, because we start off the year, and when we jump into these years and these new year, and we make these resolutions, I'm going to do these things. And then you're talking about 15 days come, 21 days come, and whatever we stated that we're going to do, we stop. you got 30 days in, and then you don't see, like, for instance, people say, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to jump in the gym. Gyms are filled, they're packed first 30 days. After the 30-day mark, you don't see anyone. Gym got slim. It was first packed, then it got slim, right? Because why? People stop. People say, oh, you know what? I'm going to write this book, or I have this great idea for this show, or I want to do something new with my life, and I'm fired up. They start, and then you give them about 30 days, ladies and gentlemen, and they stop. I want you guys to think about it. And they stop. What do you think have people doing that? Somebody type it in the chat. What do you think have people starting and stopping? I mean, do you have any ideas? Type it in the chat for me. I want to make sure you guys are coming in wherever you are, from Facebook, wherever it is. Type it in the chat. What do you think have people starting and stopping? What are some of your thoughts? You know, what are some of your thoughts? I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Stay with me. Why are they starting and stopping? Now, I need you guys to understand something. This is why I said to you, start thinking, start feeling, and start acting. We're going to have a short dialogue today, but I want to make sure that you guys get this, because it's very important. Start thinking, start feeling, and start acting. Why are they starting and stopping? One of the key things is it is because people don't understand the process. People don't understand the process. See, I just said start thinking, start feeling, and start acting. See, people don't understand the process. Now, let's look at start thinking for a second, right? It says positive thinking will let you do everything better than negative thinking. Positive thinking will let you do everything better than negative thinking. Now, if you want to reach your goal, you must have positive thinking. I want you to understand, if you want to reach that goal, whatever you're reaching for in your own mind, before you arrive at that goal, you have to have positive thinking. But I want you guys to understand something about that. Positive thinking is not what's going to get you to the goal. Ooh, I'm hoping somebody hearing me. See, you need positive thinking because it's better than negative thinking. And you need to already be thinking positive before you get to the goal that you need to get to. But positive thinking is not going to get you to the goal. Woo! Somebody right now, I'm hoping somebody's following me. I'm hoping somebody is following me. Because see, a lot of the times we get caught. Well, if I just think this way, and if I'm just grasping what he is saying or what she is saying, and I'm thinking like this, and I know because I'm thinking like this, it's going to happen. Ooh, you're on the wrong side of the track, family. You're on the wrong side of the track. If that's all you got to hang it up. If that is all you got to hang it up. See, here's the thing. One of the quotes that one of my mentors, Zig Ziglar, mentioned, he said, you can get everything in life you want if you will only help other people get what they want. I know some of you might have heard that saying before. You can achieve everything in life only if you help other people get what they want. I want to make sure you guys hold on to that. Because see, that moment of introspection, when you think about it and it coupled with your awareness of how different that thought process is, how renewing that is to the mind of someone. You can get anything you want if you help enough people get what they want. I'm hoping somebody's following me. I'm hoping somebody's following me because see, here's the thing. You have to acquire that positive thinking. But I want to make sure you understand that with the positive thinking, it cannot stop right there. With the positive thinking, it cannot stop right there. Are you guys following me? Type 7 in the chat if you're following me. Type 7 in the chat if you're following me. See, thinking positive thoughts is one thing. You need to put those thoughts into action, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. See, thinking positive thoughts is one thing, but you need to put those thoughts into action. This is why we started off, I said, start thinking, start feeling, start acting. Start thinking, start feeling, start acting. This is very important for you to grasp. This is very important for you to grasp. Now, a lot of you might say, I know that, but see, there's a fine line with knowing, understanding, and being wise to what you understand and what you believe you know. It's a very fine line. This is why it is so necessary for us to come to seminars and come to leadership summits and constantly be poured into and constantly self-educate. See, I want to make sure you guys understand something when you start talking about thinking. When you start thinking positive, you start feeling positive. See, when your thinking is consistent with positivity, then your feelings is adapting that which you think, and now you're in a state of goodness because you're feeling that which you're thinking positively, consistently. Ooh, let me back up for a second. See, when you start thinking negatively, consistently, negatively, what happens, ladies and gentlemen? How do you start feeling? Somebody type it in the chat. How do you start feeling? How do you start feeling if you're thinking negatively, consistently, constantly? How will you start feeling? I want you to think about that. See, here's the thing. When you move into positive thinking and now you shift into feelings, you got to understand this. Feelings, it is good to notice the difference between two, feelings and belief. See, you must understand the difference between two. See, there's a big difference, and it affects the way you think and act. It affects the way we as individuals think and act. See, feelings are things like anger, fear, sadness, guilt, happiness, love, joy. We can continue going on and on. That's feelings. So we want to make sure that we understand the difference between the two. Now I'm not teaching belief right now, but we're going to tap on it a bit because I need you to understand. Because see, when you start thinking, that positive thinking is going to have your feelings in a positive mode. And when your feelings are in a positive mode, you have to remember feelings. Now listen carefully. Feelings are like a seesaw. Feelings are like a yo-yo. Feelings can go up and down, ladies and gentlemen. Feelings can go up and down. So you have to maintain positive thinking. See, somebody said, "Oh, I think positive. In the morning when I get up, I think positive. I pray, and I know my day's gonna go well. And then in the afternoon, I think positive. I'm coming home from work. I'm excited. I think positive. Oh, yeah, I don't really think negative. Every so often things happen in the week. Watching television or hearing something about the kids. See, your concept of thinking positive is really on a surface level. Because see, thinking positive requires consistency. Thinking positive requires you taking action about thinking positive. Ooh, come on, somebody. Thinking positive requires you taking action about thinking positive. That means it should be a checklist. It should be a checklist that you know what you know, what you know. When you arise in the morning, your thought process needs to be positivity. Now, how can your thought process be positive when you arise in the morning? See, it cannot be positive if when you go to bed, you went into negativity. See, so the night before the morning, you have to instill and input positivity into the mind. So now that means you have to listen to things of positive vibe. You have to read things that's positive. things that will expand the mind, things that will allow you to grow, things that would allow you to think and stretch. So now, as you are winding down into the night, whatever the conscious mind has absorbed, the subconscious mind is going to go to work during the night. So you see, when you arise in the morning, you're waking up with energy. You're waking up with good vibe. See, some of you jump up and you said, I don't know what happened. I just woke up like on the wrong side of the bed. I hear that so much. What is that? Who told us that? Who taught us that? I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm just upset. Have you tracked why you were upset? Have you tracked why you were upset? Have you tracked the day before? Have you sat down and said, let me track why I woke up upset? And then you'll find that, oh my gosh, I was annoyed at this, this, and this, and I carried that annoyance throughout the rest of the evening. So I went to bed, and then the all-powerful, all-knowing subconscious mind went to work because you went to bed with negativity. So when you go to bed with negativity, negativity begots negativity. So if you have to be positive, then you have to pour in positive. This is why it is an act, and it has to be strategic, so that in that way, that positive thinking is going to stir up the feelings. Are you guys with me? Put some 10s in the chat if you're with me. Put some 10s in the chat if you're with me. See, when the feelings get to where they need to be, the feelings is what stirs up that desire and that belief. Because, see, your positive thinking is so powerful that because you're consistent, it's like you started the fan wheel and it's moving and you're consistent at it. Or you started a bicycle and you said, you know what, I'm going up the hill and I'm going to pedal this bike and I'm not going to stop. And you be sitting on the bike, but then when you go climbing that hill, you stand up and you're pumping and you're pumping and you're pumping and you're not going to stop and you're pumping and you're pumping and you're pumping because you're going up that hill and you need to be consistent because you can't stop until you get to the peak of that hill. So now the work and the effort all the way to the peak of the hill, when you get to the top of the hill and now you're going down that slope. Woo! Come on, somebody. That's that feeling that bursts into that desire, that belief. But see, in all of it, ladies and gentlemen, it is all great. It is all great. But without that action, and that's what we need to talk about. Without that action, nothing, ladies and gentlemen, can happen. Without that action. See, you need all the steps, but without that action, nothing will really work. See, it is easier, check this out. It is easier to act your way, right, into a new way of thinking. Somebody better write that down. It is easier to act your way into a new way of thinking than to think your way into a new way of acting. Ooh, come on. Easier to act your way into a new way of thinking than to think your way into a new way of acting. I'm hoping somebody's getting me. Because see, right now what you guys are getting is what was given to me. What was said, boom, I need you to talk to the people about their actions. I don't know if somebody hearing me today. Maybe I should just shut this off. I don't know if y'all hearing me. Maybe y'all in hearing me. Maybe you guys, you're just here and you probably just, maybe y'all in hearing me. See, it came to me, it says, you need to talk to them about their actions. See, go ahead and break down thinking and feelings, but you need to talk to them about their actions. It is easier to act your way into a new way of thinking. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to understand how important this is. I need you to understand how important this is. How do you do that? You have an organization. How do you do that? You have a team. How do you do that? You have a family. How are you doing these things? Because you got to act your way. You have to act your way, ladies and gentlemen. So that means you got to get organized, right? You need to be organized. You need to write it down. You need to get organized. You need to set up a great way to start acting in the way of the results that you seek, into that new way of thinking. So you got to write it down. You got to get organized. So guess what? If it's workplace standards, you got to get organized. You got to start acting into that way for that workplace standards. You got to start acting in that position that you're seeking, or that position that you're trying to show your team on how to achieve it. You got to start acting. You got to start acting. It's, we said, okay, well, hey guys, if you tell yourself a lie long enough, you start believing it. You might have heard some of the greatest teachers talk about that. If you tell yourself a lie long enough, you start believing it. But here's the thing. You're not lying. See, it is only a lie when you quit. See, people say it's a failure. It is only a lie when you quit. Because if you know and believe that you are the greatest in the position you seek, if you know that you will achieve the Miss America, if you know that you will achieve governor, guess what? You got to start acting in the way you need to think to achieve that which you're trying to achieve. You got to start acting. That means you got to start acting like Miss America. You got to start acting like the governor. You got to start acting in the way of which you're trying to achieve. So if you want to be a great ball player, guess what? You got to start acting that way. That means your action needs to show the way you will be thinking. So that means you need to be gearing up. If it's ball playing, that means you need to start practicing. You need to start putting on the gear. You need to start believing that that thing that you're seeking or searching for, that is who you are. You are it, and you're living it. So when you start living it, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? You start thinking the way that you are living. Ooh, I'm hoping somebody's getting me. Because the acting puts you in a position to start thinking, and when you start thinking, you start feeling. Ooh, I don't know if y'all getting me. When you start thinking, you start feeling, and that feeling, remember, one of the feelings of love, and love is one of the most powerful emotions. But when you start feeling, and love is doing this, it's giving off, ladies and gentlemen, to the universe. The feeling is giving off to the universe. So you now start sowing a seed of thinking, feeling, acting, thinking, feeling, acting, thinking, feeling, acting, thinking, feeling, acting. What do you think you're going to get back? Come on, somebody, type into the chat for me. What do you think you're going to get back? If you've been sowing that seed, what do you think you're going to get back? Talk to me. What do you think you're going to get back? If you're sowing that seed, if you're thinking, you're feeling, you're acting, if you're acting in the position you need, then guess what? You're going to get that harvest that is needed. And that harvest is going to be that which you've been sowing. So if you want to build up a team, or you're working with a team at your job, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You got to work. You got to decide, how do I organize the work, the workspace? How do I create a visual standard? How do I create a visual standard and clearly display the expectations on how we work and build in this area? How do I do it? That's one of the things you got to do. This is important. So visual management, you should write it down. Visual management is extremely important in acting. Visual management is extremely important in acting the part. Because whether it be something that you're doing for yourself, whether it be something you're doing in your home, whether it be something you're doing for the job, whether it be something you're doing for an organization that you're working for or working with, visual management is extremely important. That visual matrix, daily meetings. And you need to be doing that, whether it's you, your business, a team that you're building, an organization that you're building, an organization that you work with or work for. You have to do daily meetings. What does that do? It helps you to help your team. so that they will see the way that you are acting is what will rub off on them, because they will start thinking based on your acting, and your acting is allowing you to think in the way of which you need them to think. And guess what? It becomes a process that's repetitive over and over and over. Come on, somebody. It helps to improve communication. It demonstrates that you understand the process to actually navigate through the company. It helps you to share information with your team. These are things that acting will do. It have you to feel more a part of an organization, because when you start acting and people are locking in and locking arms, then it builds a culture. Somebody type culture. It builds a culture. And it keeps people moving instead of being in the dark. You got a team, you got individuals, you got yourself moving in a space where now you can look at everything, because now you have access to the resources that's always been right in front of your face, but because you haven't tapped into it. You haven't tapped into it. You have 10 colleagues around you, and you haven't tapped into what they can do. They're the resources, but you haven't tapped in because why? You didn't know how to think. You didn't know and understand the feelings that you should give off. You weren't acting. But now that you're acting, now that the thinking is happening, the feeling is contagious. Woo! Have you ever been into an office, or you walked into a room and the energy was so good and right away it hit you? Come on, somebody. Put sevens in the chat if that ever happened to you. Put sevens in the chat if that ever happened to you. You walked into a room and the energy was so good and instantly it hit you. Boom. And you're like, ooh, I like this energy in here. This feels good. See, that's because it wasn't thinking, it was acting that allowed that feeling to attach itself to you. It was acting that allowed that feeling to attach itself to you. So you got to have visual management when it comes down to acting. Now, guys, the next thing you have to have lean daily leadership. Now, what do I mean when I say lean daily leadership? You got to, if it's for yourself, you have to learn how to lead you first. That means you have to make a plan, and you have to write down the plan. You have to have lead daily leadership. Because see, what happens is that daily leadership, it's a perfect approach to helping your leaders, if it's an organization, or helping yourself to act in the way, or that new way of thinking about leading the team, leading to be more effective in the business, leading your household, leading in the position that you're employed in. So you have to have lean daily leadership. It has to be that action that is constantly happening now with people that you're expecting to lead. Yourself, who you're expecting to be a better leader in your home, in your business, so you can be more effective. So you have to have lean daily leadership. So that you need to give those leaders, or give yourself the tools to keep on top of the daily task. That's what that is. The tools to keep on top of the daily task and to make good decisions regardless, or regarding priorities, I should say. Make good decisions regarding priorities as to how their time and best coach your team, how you operate, how you work, how you maneuver. You need to be able to make the proper decision, how that works. And that can only happen with you understanding that you must have lean daily leadership. It must always be lean. Somebody said, what do you mean lean? Well, guess what? It means you got to make sure you fight with it. You got to make sure that there's no slacking. You got to make sure that it's scheduled, and you're not going to slack off of that schedule because you're lean with it. You're not letting it move to the side and say, I'm going to miss this time frame. I'm not going to do this. No, you're going to do it, because guess what? You know, when you act, then you get the feeling, and the outcome of the feeling allow people to do what needs to be done and allow growth to happen, expansion to happen, harvest to be reaped up. Why? Because you are following the process. You are following the process. It helps you to build the skills, guys. It helps you to build a mindset. That's the key about it, because the mindset grows from the feelings that come through the acting. So now the mindset is expanding. And when the mindset is expanding, now you have duplication. because duplication will come from your repetitive action and the feeling that it's giving off to those in alignment with the vision. Then growth happens. Isn't that amazing? I want you guys to understand how amazing that is. Now I need y'all to write down some things and some amazing quotes that I've written, I've read and studied from mentors, and in knowing how powerful some of these things are to assist in your growth, to assist in your expansion, right? And I want you guys to document a few, because it's very important to understand when you start thinking, feeling, and acting. Is very important, guys. So I want you guys to write down a few things, and you should have already been taking notes, right? But I want to make sure you guys write down a few things. Number one is, what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. I want to make sure you guys understand that. What you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. And I want that to sit for a second. I want you guys to think about that, how important that is. Because see, most of us, 90-something% of the world, see, we're more concerned with achieving the goal. We're more concerned with achieving the goal, right? And when the goal is achieved, should the goal ever get lost, or the accomplishments ever dissipated? Should there be any storm? See, most of them, the masses, will say, oh, look at you. You got to the top and now you down. Some folks look at you, they just want to see and tell a story. They want to talk about a story, one that is contrary, one that is bringing gossip, one that is not in alignment to what's happening. But you see, what's more important is not the goal, but is the person you become. Because if you follow the process of thinking and developing the feeling and then acting, and then realize that I can act my way into the feelings, into the process that I'm seeking, then that means you have become something so special on that journey that no matter what happens financially, no matter what happens when it shakes you, no matter what happens when the branches are broken or the leaves start falling and the season change, when you go into that winter season and our fall happens and all the leaves are coming off and now the tree is just, woo, your roots are still planted. So without leaves, with some dried up branches, your roots are still planted. And if your roots are still planted, because you've become something that is special, that which you lost, you will bloom in the spring. I'm hoping somebody's following me. That which you lost in the fall, you will bloom in the spring. So I want to make sure you understand the importance of that statement when it says what you get by achieving your goal is not as important as what you become when you achieve the goal. That is extremely important. That is extremely important. So we got to hold on to that. See, another one I want you to hold on to is, you cannot climb the ladder of success dressed in the costume of failure. My gosh. You cannot climb the ladder of success dressed in a costume of failure. And I want you guys to think about that. Because see, positive thinking is so important, but having the trifecta, having it all, is what would lead you and keep you. See, you don't want to be led, but not kept. You want to be led, go through the process, and kept. So you cannot go through the process. You cannot climb to success wearing a costume of failure. You cannot be going in success and complaining. You cannot be going in success and gossiping. You cannot move in towards greatness and hemming and hawing. You cannot move toward greatness and say, this ain't possible. See, here's the thing. You've just been doing this. So some of us, we get caught. We said, I've been doing everything. Why is it not happening for me? But then we evaluate and we say, start documenting your days, how it goes from positivity to negativity to inflictions to everything that happens in your day. Start doing that. And then when you track that, after you've documented it, let's go ahead and go over how that day has been. And then there's times you may realize that, oh my gosh, every time I made 5 steps forward, this, and this I did on my own. See, a lot of times we like to talk about outside forces. No, 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 no. See, we ourselves are self-sabotaging every time, all the time. 1, what we take in. 2, where we put ourselves in the environment to be able to take in. 3, if we go in that environment because we have no choice in the matter based on the fact that it may be employment that you're seeking or utilizing at the current time, there's ways for us to block out that, or whatever we hear, we have to input something else really quick. See, there's no getting rid of a bad habit. See, people like to say, I can get rid of the bad habit. You don't get rid of bad habit. You replace that, because you have to add something when you try to remove something, because it's already in the subconscious. So if you believe you got rid of it and you didn't replace it with something, guess what? It will surface again. So what you do is you do a replacement. And then when you're doing a replacement, you got to constantly practice. You got to constantly practice that which you're putting in. It has to be constant. So don't say, no, I got rid of it. But then what? So what are you doing? I'm not hearing you chanting anything else. You said you got rid of it, but what are you doing? What did you do? What else did you do? Well, I got rid of it. But what did you do? Did you input something else? You said you had a virus. You didn't even put a malware in. Come on, somebody. You got to replace it with something, and you have to practice that which you replace. So you got a positive thing. You got to feel it. See, here's the thing about feelings. Feelings embody all the neurons in our body. Come on. Let me tell you something. You can talk to your body. Has anyone ever told you that? You can talk to your body. See, somebody is out there probably saying, what is he saying? See, you talk to your body every time you put negativity in it. You talk to your body every time you put positivity in it. But just because you might not have spoken it in words, because you listen to it, and you wonder, oh, I feel good, I like what they're saying, you just spoke to your body. Ooh, she just said all these things happen. Oh my gosh, just in one morning, all that happened? Negativity. So guess what happens? When that negativity, negative thinking goes in, your cells, they're allotted. And when your cells are allotted, they receive negativity. So negative energy start affecting the body. And when negative energy start affecting the body, it starts from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. That's why you feel so heightened and feel so good when you're having a good feeling, when you're just joyful and you're just happy. You feel on cloud 9, because guess what? All the neurons are the cells, the organs, they're woken up. The water is flowing. We call it the juices, the water's flowing. The blood is like, woo, you're feeling good. That's the body has been spoken to. So you can speak to the body and it's in verbal language. You don't got to just wait for just the feeling. This is why it says your way, act your way. Notice what it says, act your way. Come on, somebody, your way. Because when you act, you can talk to you. That's why we talked about saying, I'm happy and grateful now that I'm blessed. I'm happy that my thoughts are of greatness. I'm happy that the thoughts that I have led me into feeling this feeling of joy. I'm happy that this feeling of joy has taken over me and exudes excellence. And it allowed me to act like the king that I am. Allow me to act like the queen that I am. It allowed me to act like the position that I love. So today, instead of me putting on a jeans and a t-shirt, ooh, I got a three-piece suit and I'm going in to the office because I know I just feel like the COO. I just feel like the CEO because I am in the position that I'm seeking in my thoughts into thinking the way that I need to think. So if I act in the way that I need to think, then my thoughts are projecting that which I act like. So now, oh, my thinking is great. My thinking is great. And all things around me will start getting attracted to me. Come on, somebody. All things around me will start getting attracted to me. That's that magnetic, kinetic force. Because why? Now I've raised my vibration. And it's like a tuning fork. So once I'm raising my vibration and I'm tuning at a high level, that which is tuning on that level will just find me. Boom. How did I find you? Oh, no, this is how did you find me? You found me because I raised my vibration. So I knew you were coming. Sir, you got the position. They offered you up. They had two guys from Harvard, and they didn't expect a community college guy to get the position. No, see, they didn't because they're stuck at thinking and believing on their level. But see, I tuned up, and once I tuned up, woo, position is mine. Because nobody else was on that frequency that could match mine. So the position was where it needed to be. The position never moved. I am the one who needed to move. I'm hoping somebody following me. Put some sevens in the chat if you're following me. See, there's some things that ain't moving, but you have to move. Come on, somebody, put some sevens in the chat if you're following me. Put some sevens in the chat if you're following me. Number three, I want y'all to understand how you elevate in every position and how you continue to win in life. The foundation stones for a balanced success. The foundational stones for a balance of success are honesty, character, integrity, faith, love, and loyalty. I'm going to say this again because I want to make sure you guys have it. It's extremely important. The foundational stones, the foundation stones for a balanced success, to be successful and to be balanced. See, people get caught. A lot of folks get caught of success. I got money, I'm successful. And most of us, we think that way too. Oh no, that guy's a multimillionaire. He's successful. He got the money, he's successful. Look at that rapper, he got the money. Look at that R&B artist. Oh my God, look at that pop artist. Oh, look at that actor. He's successful. You guys are missing the point. No, the person's not successful if they just got money. It says that it has to be honesty, character, integrity, faith, love, and loyalty. So now if I ask you, I said, okay, the guy that you said is successful, let's go through a checklist real quick. And then I asked you, I said, so would you say this guy can take any trip, go anywhere he wants, buy everything he needs, and take care of the job, pay all the employees? Yes, this guy have all the money. Checklist one. Okay, he got a plus. Then I said, okay, how is he based on dealing with the staff, and what type of man is he based on his attitude? Oh man, he has a filthy attitude, and quite frankly, he doesn't even tell us what we really need to know. So honesty, check against that person. Character, check against that person. So would you say that he's an happily married man, happy with his family? Happy, well, he walks around here like a Grinch. Quite frankly, we don't hear him talk about his wife and his kids at all. I don't even think they really like him much because he's always at the office. Check against that. So what about him being dedicated to the job? And oh no, he's highly dedicated. He's highly dedicated to the job. He's loyal to the team. Though he act this way, he's loyal. Okay, so you got that good check. But you guys are like, but this guy is a multimillionaire. He's successful. Ladies and gentlemen, he's not. Because he doesn't have love. His level of faith is only in the job. He has no integrity, and he has an issue flaw with character and honesty. So you look at the money, but then that's why you wonder when you hear things and you allow those things that we hear happen to someone come into your ear gate. I can't believe this happened to him. I can't believe this happened to her. They were so rich. They were so wealthy. No, no, they weren't. No, they weren't. Because you need to understand the foundational stones for a balanced, notice what I said, balanced success are honesty, character, integrity, faith, love, and loyalty. So if you don't have those, so you see, I know when there is a process going on that is taking me to a bigger level. So when I need to be thinking how I need to feel and how I need to act, because see, the minute one of those things are removed, oh, success is at risk. There's no more success. Oh, I'm hoping somebody getting me. See, most of us right now, we like to, for all of you that's listening, we like to say, well, please, at least I'm still got the money. No, you're missing it. This is why you can come up with a word called Scrooge. This is why you can come up to with a word saying, oh my gosh, this person is so miserable. This is why you can come with all these words. Because why? It says misery likes company. Here's why. Because when you lack those things, you're no longer in the proper thinking process, because the proper thinking process will lead to the proper feeling process. And with feelings, as I mentioned before, there's feelings of joy, feelings of fear, feelings of hurt, feelings of happiness. So guess what? You don't want to go into the feelings of hurt, the feelings of fear. You want to be in the space of feelings of joy. But here's the thing, because feelings is like a yo-yo, as I mentioned. It's like a seesaw that goes up and down. That's why you got to act your way into the thinking, so that the feelings is surrounded. And when the feelings is surrounded and desire comes out and the belief is so strong, then everything you seek in your season will come to pass. And I want to make sure you guys grasp that. I want to make sure you hold on to that. I'm going to give you two more. I got a lot, but I'm going to give you two more. You don't have, number 4 is, you don't have to be great to start. I know you guys have heard this, but you have to start to be great. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So don't worry about where you are. You just got to start. Today. It starts now. Positive thinking. What am I putting in my mind? Oh, wow, I'm here. I'm getting this at the Mr. Boston's Leadership Summit. So positive thinking. How do I get off of this and continue that process? See, this is the part that I want to make sure you guys get before you leave this evening. See, people say, well, oh, you're motivating. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Motivation cannot take you to the next level. See, motivation is good for now and maybe gives you the boost maybe another week or two. But if you do not implement positive thinking, if you do not implement the feelings, if you are not implementing the actions, then the motivation was just wasted. Then the motivation was just wasted. So that's why I said you don't have to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. That's very important. That's very important for you guys to understand. So see, I am not motivating you. I am teaching, because it's important for us to understand the difference. That's why I'm a wealth and leadership coach, because I want to be able to teach what has been imparted upon me as I learn, so that we walk the journey together. So we're students in the growth process together. This is very important. Now I'm gonna give you the last one. And this one I talked about on one of our summit in the top of the year. And this is so important because this is one that my mentor always said. He said, you were born to win. My mentor always said this, said, you were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. See, I'm gonna leave you guys with that. You were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. That is extremely important in your journey as you move. As you guys leave here today, understand how important that is. Understand how important it is for you to have positive thinking. Positive thinking will let you do everything better than negative thinking will. Hold on to that. It will let you do everything better than negative thinking will. So as we move forward through this day, everything that we allow in should be positive. Because you got to remember, most of us were in the service business. And if you're serving, you should always be thinking positive. You should always be feeling positive. You should always be feeling joyful. Let me give you guys a trick to your greatness and your accomplishments if you want to keep rising to different levels. See, if you think positive and you're feeling positive and you in the way you need to be thinking, everything you do in your organization is going to blow your mind. You might be a nurse and you walk into that patient's room and they were saying something else about the patient. But guess what happens? Because you walked in with positivity and you're full, your energy is so magnetic because your tuning fork is so high because of how you're feeling and you're acting in that space. By walking in, you shifted the energy. Whatever they said was going on, change happened. Even if it's change for a moment, change happened. You're selling goods and products, but you want to take someone on the phone with negative energy. Guess what? You're going to have a problem. But if you're in the space of greatness, greatness will happen. So when you do given a word, whether you're pastor, your servant leader, in whatever you're doing, whatever we do, we serve people. Go out with positive thinking. Allow your feelings to be contagious to not only yourself, but to others. Allow your feelings to march ahead of you. So now it's a sonic boom. When you walk, folks are saying, I was feeling some type of way. I was wondering why this good feeling was happening. But now that you're here, I found the source. So guys, as you lead out into this week, let this week be led with the force and the power of positivity. Let it be led with the force and positivity of your feelings exuding excellence. Let your action show who you are. And I guarantee you, all things that you seek will continue to surprise you beyond your imagination. So guys, I thank you guys very much for joining us this evening. I really love you guys. I want to express all the love and appreciation that you guys have been showing the Boston's Leadership Summit. We and the team over here, we just love on you guys, and we just want to continue to serve you guys. And whatever topics you guys may have in mind, whatever you may come up with, please DM us, email us, text us, whatever you have to do so that we can know what topics do you want us to talk on, what topics do you want us to research, so we can have these dialogue so that we all will grow. And I love learning, I love researching, love studying. It allows me to grow. And the greatest thing about your mind, guys, I'm gonna drop a nugget on you guys, that studies have shown that someone can utilize their car, and I call my car as my classroom, right? My car is my classroom. So you can go back and forth every day studying with your self-help books, and you can acquire the knowledge of someone who has sat for a 2 or a 4-year degree in a short space of time. Because why? You continue to input into your mind. So continue to study, continue to input positivity, rule negativity out. And you guys have a fantastic week, a fantastic day. Love you guys. Thank you again for joining us. You guys be blessed, and I'll see you guys next week.